is up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Happy Monday. It is a very cold, rainy, and gloomy Monday here in Charlotte, but that's okay. I'm not gonna let that dampen my spirits because it's Monday, it's a new week, fresh start, all that stuff. And I thought, what better way to start the week off than by doing a car vlog. Last night I went on the little YouTube community page and I asked you guys if you had any questions that you wanted me to answer, and a lot of you guys gave me some really good questions, and so I wrote down some of like the most commonly asked questions, and I'm just gonna answer those in today's video while I drive. I thought that would be really fun and just kind of like a chill way for me to answer all these questions. And then also stay tuned until the end of the video because I want to show you guys some of my favorite songs I've been listening to lately, and I'm gonna put that at the end. But yeah, I am about to drive to school. I have 2 classes this morning. It's literally like 9:30 in the morning, so if I look groggy, that's why. But I guess like without further ado, let's just like get this thing started. All right, and we are off. Okay, so the first question, and like I kind of picked the most commonly asked questions slash questions I thought were just like good that maybe you guys would want to know. Okay, so the first question I got was UNCC your top choice? And by the way, I got a lot of questions about like the application process for college, and I'm gonna do a whole other video about that. So if I didn't answer your question, that's why. Okay, so UNC Charlotte was not my top choice actually. And so I grew up in North Carolina, which is where Charlotte is. And North Carolina is kind of like notorious for having like some of the best schools. Like we have NC State, we have UNC Chapel Hill, Duke. So there's a ton of colleges here, and I actually applied to NC State, which is in Raleigh, and I wanted to like represent like a nice school. However, I did not take like a ton of AP classes in high school. I got good grades, like I had something like a 3.9 GPA, but I think that wasn't gonna cut it, honestly. Like I didn't take many AP classes at all. So I did apply to NC State and I got deferred, and it honestly wasn't a shock. Like it wasn't this huge like sad thing that like my dreams were broken, because I honestly didn't think I was gonna get into state in the first place. So that was kind of good that I didn't get my hopes up. But okay, so then I was like, well crap, I guess I should go to UNC Charlotte because I only applied to stay in Charlotte, because I knew I had the grades to get into Charlotte. However, Charlotte has gotten a lot harder to get into since, I've heard. So then I was like, okay, well I guess I'll go to UNC Charlotte. But the only thing was like I had not heard a lot about the school. And so then I formulated this plan, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to Charlotte for a semester, and then I'm gonna transfer to UNC Chapel Hill, which Chapel Hill is another like very like kind of top tier school in our state. And once again, like it wasn't I want to go to Chapel Hill because of XYZ. It was I want to go to Chapel Hill because that's where all the quote smart kids are going. You know what I mean? And like nothing against Chapel Hill, I love Chapel Hill, but I didn't really have an exact reason that I wanted to go other than the fact that it would just look good. So long story short, I ended up coming to Charlotte with the intentions of transferring after a semester, and I rushed. I kind of let myself like get in the groove of going to school here, and 4 years later I'm still here because I really quickly realized that I really liked this school a lot, and I think it's really important to like go into school with an open mind like that, because I know a lot of people do come to Charlotte with intentions of transferring. And now like 4 years later, I feel so confident with the fact that I go to school here. Nobody that graduates from Charlotte has any trouble getting a job here when they graduate, which is awesome. Yeah, thumbs up for UNC Charlotte. No, it was not my top choice in schools, but yes, I love it, and I would not change my decision for anything. All right, next question. I got this a lot. Advice for people that lack motivation when it comes to studying, diet, all that kind of stuff. So the way that I stay motivated as a whole is to find something that motivates me. So a vision board is a really good way to stay motivated, because you can just go online, cut out a bunch of pictures of like either the abs you want, you know, the grades you want, the house you want one day, the car you want. And if you just put it all on a board and you put it in your room and you look at it every day, you're gonna constantly be reminded, and that's gonna kind of like give you that push, I've noticed. Also, as far as motivation goes, what I like to do is kind of like ask myself, why do you want, you know, a flat tummy? Why do you want good grades? Well, I want good grades because I want to have a good GPA when I graduate, so I can maybe go to grad school one day, or so I can show that future employer, hey, I got a great GPA in college. I want a flat tummy so that you know, when I take photos, I don't feel the need to like edit my insecurities out, if that makes sense. You know, everyone's gonna have their own reason for like their motivation, but that's honestly how I stay motivated. And I also remind myself, like, you know, the days that you have so much to do but you just stay in bed ignoring all your responsibilities, think about how crappy you feel after that. Like, I never feel better after laying in bed all day. Like, sometimes I do if I really need the rest, but a lot of the time I'm just like, crap, why did I just waste that whole day? So if you ever find yourself just like sitting in bed and like ignoring all your responsibilities, just remind yourself that like you're not gonna feel any better after, because all of those responsibilities are still gonna be there, like being waited to take care of, if that makes sense. So that's kind of how I personally stay motivated. I feel like the older you get, the better at it you get. Like, I was so bad at sticking to a schedule my first year of college, my second year of college even, and it's definitely taken me a while. Like, if you go on my YouTube channel, I have not always been consistent, and I'm gonna be the first to admit that to you guys. Like, I used to suck at being consistent on YouTube. I would upload like one video every 2 months because I wasn't motivated. I found the motivation with my channel, which is like seeing how much I'm helping you guys is like a huge motivator. And I think everyone has their own reasons for being motivated. All right, next question is, how do you handle the stress that comes along with school, your social life, and YouTube? I think this is a great question. So something I've kind of realized is stress is like kind of like self-inflicted in a way. Like, that doesn't apply to all situations, but when you think about it, a lot of the time, like last week for example, I was stressed because I had so much going on. However, if I had maybe taken care of some of those studies within the weeks prior, I would not have been as stressed. So I feel like a lot of like stress can literally be avoided before you even get to that point. I feel like these answers aren't making sense, but basically what I'm trying to say is, like, if you're stressed out about school, what can you do to make those stress levels lower? You can probably pay attention better in class so that you don't have to spend as much time studying. You can take better notes in class so that you're not spending all this time, you know, reading your textbook because you weren't paying attention. I hope that's making sense, but yeah, I feel like the first step to dealing with stress is avoiding it in the first place. All right, next commonly asked question I got is, how did you choose your major / what should you do if you don't even know what you want to major in? So first of all, if you don't know what you want to major in, you're not alone, and I know it can feel so lonely, like not knowing what you want to do with your life. So okay, to be completely honest, if you're a sophomore in college and you really don't know what you want to do, I would just say being a business major is always a smart route, because you can do a lot with that, and you can always go back to graduate school with business degree, you know what I mean? So that's kind of my 2 cents on it. Like, if you don't know what to do and you're already in, like, you've made it through a couple years of college and you really need to make your decision, I would just go with business. It's not that hard. It's a reputable major. It's not hard to get a job with a business degree. Or if you're kind of figuring out, like, what do I want to do before you even go to college, it's always nice to like go to college your first year and just kind of like feel it out, take some different classes. Like, if you struggle really hard in your math class, then business is probably not the major for you because it's a lot of math. If you do really well in bio, then maybe consider doing like, you know, nursing or health systems management and stuff like that. Just know that like you're not alone, and that like in my opinion, I think age 18 is way too young to be able to decide like what you want to do with your life. And then also, don't feel bad about taking a gap semester if you need time to figure your life out. I have a really good friend who went to NYU, and which is an amazing school, and 2 years in, she was like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, and she took a semester off. Her parents were not very happy with her, but she took a semester off because she started lacking motivation because she didn't even know what she wanted to do with her life. And then she came back so strong the next semester. She got a better idea of what she wanted to do because she had way more time to think about it versus being like overwhelmed with school. And honestly, if this gives you guys comfort, I'm a senior in college, gonna graduate in like 5 months, and I don't even know what I want to do. And that's what's nice about a business degree, is you can graduate with a business degree and not really have a solid career path, and you can be okay, you know what I mean? Because it's one of those degrees that is so like broad, I feel like. Okay, so next question, I've been getting this one a lot. So you guys have been wondering what is my like after college dream job, and okay, so I think like the job I'm going to start seeking out when I graduate is working for the airlines. Not as like a flight attendant or as a pilot or anything like that, but I would love to work in like the internal relations, obviously like within the financial sector of airlines. I would love those perks for sure. I would love to be able to like fly for free or fly at a discounted rate, especially while I'm this young. You know, I don't like have kids or anything to deal with, so I don't know, I think I would really enjoy that. Really, guys, I'm so open-minded. Like, there's nothing specific. I'm not really against anything. I just don't want to like sit at a desk all day. I want to be able to do something that allows me to be happy and travel and not resent going to work, if that makes sense. So yeah, and then also, like, you guys know I'm such an entrepreneur and I would love to one day have my own business, but I've come to the conclusion that I really need to go out and get like real world experience before I do that. And I'm taking an entrepreneurship class right now, and a lot of the successful like CEOs and founders, that's exactly what they did. They graduated, they went and got some experience, and then they started their own gig. So that's my plan. Okay, next question. Someone asked, what have been the best and worst parts of college? I think this is such a good question, because we always talk about like the good parts of college, and then we always talk about the bad parts of college, but we never talk about them together. So I think the best part of college is just, for me, it's just been like being able to like constantly be in this group with all my friends and, you know, go to class and see my friends, then go home and then wake up the next morning and like do it again. I feel like it's definitely taught me a lot of discipline. It's so nice, just like, I mean, I love my parents to death and they know that, but it's also just nice being able to like be on your own and like finally be an adult and make the decisions for yourself. And then I think the worst part of college is, and this isn't something that I realized until recently, so okay, I feel like college can kind of be like a bubble. And that can be a good and bad thing, because, you know, when you're in a bubble, you don't really have to worry about being in the real world or, you know, having big kid priorities. There could be better ways to prepare students for exiting college. I feel like instead of like, you know, I'm not even a management major and I've had to take like 3 management classes. I feel like instead of having to take one of those classes, instead there should be a class about like, you know, like learning how you buy your first home, figuring out how to like outsource yourself with like finding other jobs and stuff. I just feel like there should be a class about that like seniors should have to take. So that's kind of the worst part. I just feel like you're in a bubble and that college doesn't really prepare you to enter the real world. You're not going to need to know all these calculations that you're forced to learn in college, you know, like for my math classes. Like apparently like when you're actually sitting at the desk, like you can just look them all up online. So I'm like, then why am I spending all this time like memorizing all of this stuff if I'm not even going to need to like have it memorized when I have an actual job? I feel like that just sounds really whiny, but that's honestly my answer. Okay, and the final question, how do you organize your life to be productive? I have figured out something that has definitely helped me stay on track, and that is planning prior to the day. So for me, okay, a lot of the time I will have a free day and I'm like, heck yes, I have a free day, I'm gonna film YouTube videos. And then I'm like, well, what do I film? What video should I film? And so then I spend the whole free day figuring out what to film, and then by the time I figure out what to film and I get all the stuff to film, the day is over and I've wasted all the time. So I feel like the best way to combat that is by planning beforehand. So that can either just be like, for me, I'll like brainstorm video ideas ahead of time, or, you know, you guys have seen how I always like to have my notes printed out ahead of time before I study, so that I'm not wasting all that time timing up notes. So I feel like the best way is just to plan and take the like 10 minutes on the day prior to do something that can save you so much time that next day. But this also kind of leads me back to one of those first questions about handling the stress of like, you know, balancing college, your social life, and YouTube and all that kind of stuff. And I definitely think that like you can't have it all. And that's the other thing I've realized, that like in college you have to make sacrifices, and at first that can seem like, why is this person getting out of their car? At first that can seem so scary, like, oh my gosh, I have to sacrifice my social life, I have to sacrifice grades. Well, you shouldn't sacrifice your grades, that's for sure. But that's what you have to realize, is like sometimes, like as you guys saw in the vlog I posted last week. I was really upset that I couldn't go out on Saturday. I was really bummed that I had to go to the library, but you know what? Me going to that library is probably what made me get an A on the test. And that was a sacrifice. Like, I couldn't go out, but I got a good grade. So you kind of just have to realize, like, what do you want? And like, obviously, who doesn't want an amazing social life? You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like, is an amazing social life gonna get you a degree? No, it's not. But that doesn't mean that like you can't go out and have fun. Like, trust me, y'all, I have fun, but you just need to know like when to step back. And like, if you're hanging out with the right group of people, they're gonna understand when you can't go out. If you're hanging out with people that give you so much crap about not being able to go out and that like hate on you for that kind of stuff and are trying to drag you down, you should say bye-bye to them, because those do not sound like good friends. Obviously, like, friends are gonna want you to come out and stuff, but friends will also understand when you have more things than just drinking to do, if that makes sense. So there is a train here, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and just do my little playlist for you guys since I'm stopped. Okay, so first song, obviously you guys have probably heard. Thank You Next by Ariana. It is so good. Just love it. It's amazing. I feel like anybody can relate to it. It doesn't even have to apply for like an ex-boyfriend. It can apply to like an ex-best friend, somebody that hurt you, someone you learned something from. Highly would recommend. Alright, next, okay, this album, if you guys have ever heard of Odessa, which if you haven't, please stop what you're doing and just go listen to them. But their Moment Apart album is amazing. So I went to their show in May, and it was probably the most magical night of my life. I'm not even exaggerating. It was amazing. I was just with all my closest friends, and it was outside, and we had lawn seats, which are literally the worst seats, but it was amazing. Like, they put on such a good show, and just every track on the album is so good. Late Night is a really good song. All their songs have like a really good build up too. A Moment Apart is really good too. Odessa is just like really good study music, so you guys should definitely check them out. They have so much music. You probably heard of them. Okay, next song. This is a really good pipe up song if you need some kind of motivation, whether it's to go to work, to work out, to go to school. Money by Cardi B has been like my favorite lately. It's might set it as my alarm just because it's that good of a song.
On wheels, woo! I was born to flex. Diamonds on my neck. I like boy and just cool. Bustin' at the roof. I got bands in the.
Okay, next song, Every Day by Ariana. So good.
Anytime I'm alone, I can't help thinking about you.
Final song I'm gonna show you guys, Blase. It's by Future and Ray Summerd. But there's this really good remix to it. Listen to this build up.
Blase, blase, blase.
Alright, you guys, so I think that's gonna go ahead and sum it up for this car vlog. I hope that I answered some of your questions. If I didn't get around to your questions, shoot me an Instagram DM and I will totally get back to you on there. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of these videos. I'll probably try and do maybe like one car vlog every couple of weeks or something. And I hope you guys have a great week ahead of you. If you need some kind of motivation, go watch my study motivation video I posted the other day, because I literally studied for, I did the math and it was something crazy like 38 hours last week. And it was exhausting, but it was so worth it. It paid off. And now I'm literally stress-free because I got good grades on all this tests and I don't have to worry about failing any classes or anything. But yeah, I love you guys so much, and I will see you very, very soon in my next video. Bye, guys!